Ahsoka.
With the Ahsoka series upon us, I thought it might be fun to do a brief breakdown of one of the most beloved characters in the entire Star Wars franchise. It also could be useful to either have a refresher or primer on the titular character that will be showing in the next TV series. It's funny to think that a character people have been clamoring for was once reviled, and now she has her own show. As a note, this is part one of a multi-part series, but anyway, let's just get into it.
My apologies, young one. It's time for a proper introduction.
I'm the new Padawan learner. I'm Ahsoka Tano.
As I had stated, one of the more interesting pieces of Ahsoka is how much she was hated. The character was panned by fans and often looked at as what had gone wrong with Star Wars. Though, through her adventures in the Clone Wars, she would soon become beloved. So let's look at her history.
I was told to tell both of you that you must get back to the Jedi Temple immediately. There's an emergency.
Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but we're in a bit of an emergency right here.
Yes, our communications have been a bit unreliable, but we've been calling for help.
She first met Anakin when the Jedi Knight and Master Kenobi received reinforcements at the Battle of Christophsis. Her past before that was of general little note, though she was able to prevent herself from being kidnapped by an evil entity to later be taken away by the Jedi. She would fall under the tutelage of Plo Koon and Yoda as a youngling and ultimately, as stated, be assigned to Anakin Skywalker as a way of teaching him how to let go of things. That worked out swimmingly, by the way. Their first interaction didn't go very well, however, with him openly stating that he has no interest in training a Padawan and her openly mocking him in front of his soldiers.
So I thought you said you'd never have a Padawan.
There's been a mix-up. The youngling isn't with me.
Stop calling me that! You're stuck with me, Sky Guy.
What did you just call me?
However, after working together to defeat a separatist plot allowing the Republic to win the battle, they would form a tight-knit bond with her always looking up to him as her mentor.
You're reckless, little one. You never would have made it as Obi-Wan's Padawan. But you might make it as mine.
This would lead into probably her most well-known era, the Clone Wars. Staying the rank of Padawan for her entire time in service, Ahsoka would serve in at least 19 engagements in more than 4 campaigns.
Sorry to interrupt your playtime, Grumpy, but wouldn't you prefer a challenge?
That wouldn't be you.
One of the first major battles that would gain her notoriety was at the Battle of Bothawu, where Ahsoka would save Captain Rex by distracting General Grievous and engaging him in lightsaber combat. At only 13 or 14 years of age, she would fight the most feared Jedi killer in the galaxy, and find herself outmatched and ultimately have to outwit Grievous so that she could escape before he could kill her.
If it isn't the hairless harpy.
If it isn't Skywalker's filthy, obnoxious little pet.
Fighting those imbued with the dark side of the Force would be her specialty, though, as both her and Unduli would be tasked with protecting a high-value prisoner. She'd find herself fighting Asajj Ventress, a Sith apprentice and assassin, and this wouldn't be the first time that she fought her either. And honestly, she didn't fare that much better facing off for the second time against the assassin. Unfortunately still outclassed, even with the help of a master, Ventress would escape with the prisoner in tow. A lost event, to be sure. Unfortunately, her skill working independently would not find parity with her ability to lead other people, the Battle of Ryloth being a pretty good example. Ahsoka was placed in command of Blue Squadron in an attempt to break the blockade for the needy planet. Her recklessness would lead to the death of most of her squadron. This would devastate the youngling, and she'd begin to lose confidence in herself. Skywalker, seeing that something needed to be done before she lost all ability to command, placed her in charge of another squadron and the Resolute, a Venator-class Star Destroyer.
I don't think they're going to attack, Commander.
We'll have to retreat.
No! Wait! Remember, they are droids. They're just a little slow. They'll figure it out.
It was Ahsoka's quick thinking and command that ensured victory and the breaking of the blockade itself. However, she would not immediately get over her brashness.
We've engaged the enemy and we've got them on the run.
They're here to extract us. We're leaving.
What? What? We can't retreat now, Master. I've broken through.
After being transferred and serving in the Battle of Fallujah, she refused to listen to orders and took actions that, again, almost resulted in her and her clones being killed. She'd be punished by being removed from the front lines and placed on guard duty in the archives. While there, she would assist in defending the archives against an attack, though be unable to stop the theft of a holocron.
I'm not impressed.
The young Padawan and Skywalker would be dispatched to catch the thief, which would place Ahsoka squarely up against the notorious bounty hunter, Cad Bane.
Oh, I wouldn't do that. Those binders have been specially designed for Jedi.
Though not a Force user himself, Bane was accustomed to fighting their ilk and easily defeated Ahsoka. He'd use her as leverage and force Skywalker to open the holocron, giving information of all the younglings in the galaxy.
Fresh now, youngling?
After this failure, Jedi Masters would be dispatched to capture the infamous individual, leaving Skywalker and Tano to return to the Clone Wars. While there were other adventures, that I will go over in another video, her next large-scale operation would be the Second Battle of Geonosis. One of the worst offenses the Republic had seen, it would involve large-scale battle with heavy losses on both sides. Space, atmosphere, and the planet itself saw major battle with no one side completely in control. The Master and Apprentice would team up with Unduli and her Padawan, Barriss Offee, to attack a droid foundry and ultimately destroy it from the inside. After this, the Togruta would see little battle for quite a while until the mission set to rescue Even Piell. She was a part of an elite group that were sent to a Jedi prison to help free the Master. Though the operation was technically unsuccessful with the death of Piell, she would gain coordinates to the Nexus route. She vowed to only share it with the Jedi Council, leaving the politics of gaining the complete set to that of Master Yoda and Chancellor Palpatine.
Hey, what are you doing?
What you told us!
By this point, the Jedi Padawan had become very accustomed to war and quite the soldier. She had proven herself time and again. Her abilities to not only fight, but lead her own troops was becoming noticed by the Jedi Council and the Republic. She would be tasked with assisting a rebellion against a Confederate stronghold on Onderon. Working with Skywalker, Kenobi, and Rex, she assisted in training the amateurish rebels in how to fight the Confederacy, including how to engage in hit and run as well as terrorist activities. This would ultimately be somewhat successful with the planet in full rebellion. Interestingly, I've only went over the highlights of her tenure as a soldier of the Galactic Republic. I'll be going into much more on her fall and how she left the Jedi, but right now, what are your thoughts? What kind of child soldier was Ahsoka? Did you think she served them well? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next Lore Reloaded.
You're reckless, little one. You never would have made it as Obi-Wan's Padawan. But you might make it as mine.